Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about you in the video? This is another paid request, this time from Alban. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or lists, reactions, topics, commentaries, re-reviews, reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Alban wanted me to talk about my top 15 favorite films of the year 1980. Going to number 15, I put Shogun Assassin. It was a couple films from overseas that then distributors took, and they pretty much took the two films and said, put all the action in it, which is what it is. It's like 80 minutes, 90 minutes, mostly action, very little plot, just this guy and his son, wife has been dishonored and killed, he goes for revenge. It's the lone wolf and cub scenario, and you get some nicely shot action scenes. You have that great music. Down, 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 down. If you watch the trailer for Shogun Assassin, that's pretty much, you know what kind of movie you're getting at. You exactly know what kind of movie you're getting at. And it's a lot of fun. But yeah, how do I put it? Like I said, if you watch the trailer to Shogun Assassin, it pretty much tells you what the kind of movie you're getting at. It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. It's this cart he has blades that come out of the sides that decimate people. When people get killed, blood sprays like Tarantino would use later in Kill Bill and Django Unchained. It's a decently violent movie. Very short on plot, very short on characters, but if you like your action bloody and with a decent amount of swordplay, definitely worth a watch. Like I say, if you watch the trailer, if you like the trailer, then that's what you get more of in the movie. Number 14, I put Caddyshack. I think it's a funny comedy. You got Rodney Dangerfield, you got Bill Murray, you got Chevy Chase. So you have a great cast. You have, the slobs versus the snobs mentality. And there's a lot of people on their A game. Chevy Chase is charming and smarmy. Bill Murray playing a very quirky character. It's in the hole. Rodney Dangerfield doing his Rodney bits. They had the right cast and you had the right director, and they just a fun movie, just a fun comedy. The reason I'm not getting much detail, I will admit, it's been a while since I've seen it, and there's so many movies I try to fit into my brain, but it's Caddyshack. I mean, come on. That's all we really need to know is Caddyshack. Number 13, Fade to Black. Fade to Black, for those who don't know, it's a pretty interesting, I guess you could call it slasher film, in a way, but it's also a bit of a character dissertation where this guy, played by Dennis Christopher, who was in the 1990 Stephen King's It miniseries, he played the adult of the little kid who was looked at as the shortest of them all and was looked as more nerdy of them all, and I think he had asthma and such, if I'm not mistaken. If so, I apologize, but yeah, he did, because he sprays it into Pennywise when he's a kid, and he tries to do it later as an adult to show that he's not afraid. He plays a guy who's a big fan of movies. He's a big fan of films, black and white films, James Cagney, Marilyn Monroe, among others. And the thing is that he's a bit disturbed because of his personal life, because of his family, things of that nature. one that leads to another. He goes off the deep end, and he's taking a bit of revenge on people that are pushing him down, that are making fun of him, that are disrupting his life. And he's using his love of movies to go after these folks. So he'll put on costumes looking like Dracula, the Mummy, an old gangster with a Tommy gun, and take out these guys who either ripped off his idea to write a script and make a movie, or Mickey Rourke in a young role, messing with him at work, things of that nature. I thought it was a plot very ahead of its time. I thought Diz Christopher did a really good job acting performance-wise. There's some issues. Tim Thomerson, who I do like, he's in there as this psychiatrist that really has nothing to do, and you could completely take his character out, and it would... I like seeing Tim Thomerson, but his character really didn't do anything, didn't add anything to the proceedings, didn't accomplish anything, so it's pretty pointless subplot. But Fade to Black, again, like all these, just check out the trailer if it interests you. It did get a Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome, which is a pretty good Blu-ray. And overall, nice that film finally got a physical release. Because for the longest time, never even really had a DVD or anything. So that was very nice to see. Number 12, Altered States. Rest in peace, William Hurt, who sadly passed away not too long ago. And he's a guy doing these experiments, a lot of times with a decompression chamber, among other type of stuff about human evolution and where did we truly come from. But during these experiments, his body starts changing. It is pretty wild, it's pretty trippy. And that's one of the things I did like, is how creative and trippy it got. I thought William Hurt did a good job. At times, some people may be a bit lost with some of the technical jargon that's going on. But I did feel that it was a interesting, if peculiar movie. It might have been a peculiar movie, but here's a better way to describe the plot. Sensory deprivation taints with powerful hallucinogenic drugs, convinced they may help him unlock different states of consciousness. They're successful, but as he keeps using it, his body starts transforming. At first, it's almost ape-like figure, and then to more like pure energy. And like I said, it does have some pretty interesting special effects. I thought William Hurt did a really good job with the film. It's directed by Ken Russell. I remember the music being pretty solid within the movie. I mean, with a lot of things, I'm kind of want to be a bit vague as well, so that people check them out, so I don't spoil everything about it. Number 11, The Island. This is the one with Michael Caine, based on a Peter Benchley novel. Got hated on a lot. A lot of people despise the film. I don't really see what there is to hate about the film. I thought it was a nice surprise when I first saw it. Pretty much Michael Caine has a son who gets taken by these pirates. Modern day pirates, led by David Warner. David Warner, who was in the first Watts work and been in plenty of other stuff. And Michael Caine has to go save his son from these modern pirates. I mean, hell, there's a great scene where the pirates are taking over this, I think it was like a Navy ship. And there's a point where Michael Caine gets a fucking 50 caliber and just on the fucking pirates. I mean, it's not as bloody as Rambo 4. But come on, whenever you get a scene like that, I'm a sucker for. I'm like, yeah. And I like Michael Caine. I think he's a good actor. And I think he does a rather solid job in the movie. Never mind in a minute. But yeah, I kind of try to, like, what is it that people really hate about the film? I don't really know. I mean, it's not a horror film because Peter Benchley, of course, his other stuff was Jaws, which people remember and remember much more fondly. And yes, Jaws is a much better movie than The Island, but I thought it was a pretty decent, pretty capable movie. That I said that Michael Caine was a badass. David Warner works well as the villain. It was nice to see modern take on pirates, not just the Pirates of the Caribbean type stuff. And you did be some satisfying scenes like a damn 50 caliber bit. Sometimes I don't ask for too much. Now number 10, I wasn't sure where to put this because many places say 1980. Some would argue that it's really 1981 that this came out. Superman 2. Again, a lot of places say 1980, but then some argue, well, technically, wasn't it 1981? I'm just going to put it on the list because, again, a lot of places say 1980, so I'll just put it on there. Plus, it's Superman 2. I like Superman 2. My favorite's still the first one, but Superman 2, I like the Kryptonians, especially Zod. Terrence Stamp, I thought, really did nailed that role. Christopher Reeve. I don't like. Maybe I don't love it as much as other people do. What I mean by that is, and that's why I'm kind of sitting down and hesitating. I thought it was a bit. I did why they did it. I still think it's a bit strange that in the second film, you go with the whole he's going to get rid of his powers because he loves Lois Lane. Because it feels like we've just been introduced to Superman, so then to go through that plot, I'm like, maybe there was like a fourth film, maybe, but like right at the second film, it's like I don't know. Like I said, I that's just me. I do like the action bits with him finding the three Kryptonians. I think Christopher Reeve does another bang up job as Superman and Clark Kent. Because I see Bartle Kidder and Gene Hackman back as Lois Lane and Lex Luthor. I think the score is not John Williams, but I thought that the score very capable. I do like the theatrical cut more than the Richard Donner cut. I do. I like the opening action scene with the Eiffel Tower. I think that's a nice way to open up the film with some excitement. I love the line. It's actually my favorite line in the whole franchise. General, would you care to step outside? And that's taken out of the Richard Donner cut, and I'm like, well, that already makes this cut a failure to me. You took out the best line, in my opinion, of the whole damn franchise. And I have always hated the going around the world bit. That's the one thing I hate in the Superman movie, and they repeat the shit. So as dumb as the kiss is, I'd rather take that than the fucking going around the world and changing the whole fucking planet. The go back time. Yeah, the kiss is bullshit, but I find this more bullshit because if he could do that willy nilly, then he could do that every fucking time. Or just do neither and think of a different idea. So people don't get pissed at me. I actually like Superman 3 more than Superman 2. I love Richard Pryor. I love that it was this whole, yes, it's campier, but I think within its movie, its tone, it's a more silly tone, but yet the tone is more consistent in silliness, as in, this feels like more the goofier comics of Superman, I agree. But I love the Richard Pryor stuff. I love the evil Superman stuff. I love the robot stuff at the end with the computer and that creepy looking lady robot that gives you fucking nightmares as a kid. Like, Jesus. I love that bit with Superman 3. I just call it nostalgia, call all you want, but Superman 3 is my second favorite Superman movie after the first one. I do like Superman 2. I do like the action scenes. Terrence Stamp is a boss. But again, the whole getting rid of his powers already, that subplot, I actually wasn't as big of a fan of as other people. As silly as he is, I preferred the plot in Superman 3 more. I like the stuff with Lana Lane. I liked Annette O'Toole. Or is that her name? I think I got her name wrong. I think I was thinking of someone else. So I'm bad with names. I'm glad I got my phone here. I think I got her name wrong. No, Annette O'Toole. Okay. Yeah, it is Annette O'Toole. Want to make sure. I still like... I do. So... But yeah, Superman 2 is still a fun, good superhero movie. Number 9, Where the Buffalo Roam with Bill Murray. It's a Bill Murray film no one talks about. It's a Bill Murray film no one really remembers. It was pretty much Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas before Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's based on the same guy, Hunter S. Thompson. It's not the same plot, but it's Bill Murray playing Hunter S. Thompson, the part Johnny Depp played in Fear and Loathing. And being a big fan of Fear and Loathing, which is one of my favorite Johnny Depp films, it is my favorite... What's his name? I know his name. The guy who did 12 Monkeys. Terry Gilliam. It is my favorite Terry Gilliam film. The Fisher Team being a second. But it was nice being a big fan of that, and I see Bill Murray's take on that guy and how he talked in his mannerisms, and Peter Boyle as kind of the doctor, the sidekick. And I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was just funny and entertaining to see Bill Murray play this role, play this character, really go for it. And it's a film that had some funny bits and lines in it, and like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but also a lot of these movies, like, a lot of times, for those who don't know, when I do a review, it's when I just watch a film and things are much more fresh in my mind. But because I have like 1,000 movies in here, it's hard to remember stuff off the cuff like I used to back in the day. So that's why a lot of times I don't go into a whole lot of detail. Unless I just rewatch it and then it's more fresh in my mind. But I think that's a bit of an underrated comedy, Where the Buffalo Roam. I think it did get a Blu-ray from Shout Factory, which I haven't picked up yet. I don't know if it's still in print. Number 8, I put Any Which Way You Can, the Clint Eastwood sequel to Every Which Way But Loose. I like both of those movies. Him as orangutan, I think they're goofy, good-natured fun. And Any Which Way You Can, you could say the story is maybe a bit stronger, the fact that they bring up this love story and there is a payoff, unlike the first one where you think there's a love story, then she just fucking leaves. Here, there's a culmination of that. I also like the finale. It's this big old fist fight between him and the guy who would play Conan's dad in Conan the Barbarian in 1982. And he was also in various other films. He was in Red Dawn, the original. So then you did this big massive fist fight between the two, which Clint Eastwood wins. Because I was saying at the end of the first film, he didn't get the girl. He purposely lost the fight for this other guy to save face. Well, now here, a bit more satisfying. He wins the fight, he gets the girl, and blah, blah, blah. So I have the funny comedy with the orangutan stuff, as crazy as that sounds. But I think they're both a good double feature. Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can. And those films were some of Eastwood's biggest movies, especially at the time. People forget how huge these films were. But yeah, any which way you can, I think it's an entertaining comedy. Speaking of comedies, number 7, Airplane. Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley. Robert Hayes, Robert Stack, Leslie Nielsen. You have a fantastic cast. Great parody. Still very funny. Still very entertaining. One of those parodies that throw as much as they can on the board to see what sticks. And they have pretty good average. Whether each of the person waking the person up. And they keep shaking it, and one person keeps slapping her, and then it gets worse and worse as it goes along. Playing up the disaster genre, which was big at the time. Airplane, still a very fun, entertaining comedy. Still one of the best parodies out there. Which they don't really do a lot of parodies nowadays, because a lot of those movies, whether it be epic movie, date movie, Meet the Spartans, disaster movie, they killed the parody genre. And the scary movie sequels, like Scary Movie 4 and 5. And did they do a 6? No, I think they stopped at 5, thankfully. Those killed the parody genre. That's why you don't see a lot of parodies. At least none that have a big theatrical release like Airplane did, or Hot Shots Part 2, or National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. You don't really see that. Which is a shame. Because if done right, it'd be pretty damn funny. Number 6, I put Terror Train. I think Terror Train is one of the better slasher films of that era. Jamie Lee Curtis. I felt she had a lot more to do here compared to Prom Night. Because Prom Night, she doesn't even fight the killer. She doesn't get chased by the killer. And if you've seen Prom Night, you know why. And if you know who the killer is in Prom Night, you know why that doesn't happen. There's a reason why she doesn't fight the killer. There's a reason why the killer does not chase her. But so I did it in terms of the plot, but because of that, your lead character feels outside of the action and outside of the horror. Like she feels separated, so she's never in danger. There's no... Here, not the case. I think it's one of the better finales with her involved, where going through the cable cars and the train cars, I should say, and she's high in that cage, and the killer's sharp spear, like implement, ready to impale her, and getting closer and closer to her face. Ben Johnson, I think he's a lot of fun as a train conductor, has a nice warmth to his character. I like the idea of the killer. First off, I like the idea it's on a train. Has a different venue, different setting for it. And the idea that the killer, when he kills someone, because it's a party with people with costumes, he'll keep stealing costumes. So it would be in this costume, then he looks like this one. Okay, that made a bit different. So it wasn't just one generic costume. It's like these different ones he would take form in, these costumes. Now, it's not a gory film. If you're looking for gore, you're going to be very, very disappointed. But again, the Jamie Lee Curtis and Ben Johnson worked well in the movie. Like I said, I don't think Roger Sponswood did a bad job directing. I don't know why he had such a bug up his ass. Because apparently at one point he was going to do a commentary. He's like, I can't do this. Dude, you did Stop and My Man Will Shoot. I think you did sit down and do a commentary for Terror Train. I don't even hate Stop and My Man Will Shoot. And I can say Terror Train is a lot better than Stop and My Man Will Shoot. It does not have Stallone in a diaper. And I don't even hate that fucking movie. I don't love the movie because you have Stallone in a diaper, but I don't hate that movie either. But anyway. But yeah, I think Terror Train is very effective what it needed to do. I think if that film had a bit more gore, it probably maybe be more beloved, but I do think it's one of the better... It's one of my favorite slashers of that era. Number 5, Alligator. Love Alligator. Rest in peace, Robert Forster. It has a great sense of humor thanks to John Sayles' script. Great sense of humor. You know, I mean, the bit where Robert Forster talked to the lady, and then go out there, and he throws his keys up, grabs it. Gonna kick his ass. And it's about a giant alligator in the sewers, and I thought they implemented, even though it's a low budget movie, it didn't feel cheap. They used the city a lot, cops and vehicles, and it felt like a bigger production than the budget was. I think Louis T did a good job, who would go on to direct Cujo, yes, and Navy SEALs, among others. Robert Forster is very personable, very likable, very easy to root for. You know, there's the ongoing gag about his hair, uh, losing hair, and people keep commenting on it. Oh, you have one of those, huh? For the budget at the time, I thought the way they made the alligator look was nicely done. Because again, the idea for the low budget they had, I think it was very competent in what they were able to do and get away with. And you do get a sense of alligator carnage, whether it be fucks up this whole wedding party at one point, will at another point breaks through the ground and kills a police officer. It doesn't shy away from that. Little kids, even little kids might not make it, especially if you're in a swimming pool and it's in a swimming pool. Yeah, I think they utilized the city location very well. I think they did a pretty good production value for their budget. This has some decent gore. There's a person in the water and he gets bit. When they pull him out, both his legs are gone. Again, there's some entertaining bits of humor. Henry Silva as the big game hunter. Part of me wishes his character was in the film more. But when the bits he's in there, he's got some funny bits in there. Overall, I love Alligator. Absolutely solid movie. Glad it finally got a new Blu-ray. Sally was not around with Robert Forster to do a new interview, perhaps, but I'm glad it finally got, and a 4K as well. I think I have it here, now that I think about it. Otherwise, I might have put it over there. I might have done that. Yeah, I might have put it over there. So, but yeah, sorry about the pause and that. Okay, damn, yeah, I put it over there. Otherwise, I don't show it. But yeah, love Alligator. Number 4, The Changeling. Wonderful ghost story with George C. Scott. You really feel for his character from the very beginning. We as the audience witness the death of his family, as he does. George C. Scott, wonderful powerhouse of an actor, whether it be in the remake of 12 Angry Men, whether it be in The Exorcist 3, or whether it be in this movie. He really knows how to showcase those emotions and be such a sturdy lead actor, commanding the screen. Has nice subtle bits of suspense. The ball going down the stairs, and anytime he gets rid of it, it keeps coming back. The wheelchair in the attic, all rusted and dirty, and chasing down someone, but not making it silly or goofy. And it was an interesting story of who the Changeling is and how they came about, and how George C. Scott is kind of given signs in order to find this and find what's going on and what the backstory is. I thought that was an interesting mystery to it. So I love The Changeling. Top-notch horror film, in my opinion. Number 3, I put The Fog. I'm a sucker for John Carpenter's The Fog. I love the atmosphere. The cast, you got Jamie Lee Curtis, you got Scott. If it was Scott, it'd be a different movie. Tom Atkins. If it was Scott Atkins, it'd be a different movie. It'd be kicking ghosts in the face. Tom Atkins. You have... why can't I remember his name? Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Atkins. Oh my god, he was a. Why can't I remember his damn name? He's in this movie too. Hal Holbrook. So bad with names today. Damn. But I love the atmosphere throughout that. Love the. God, I'm so bad with names. God, I don't know what it is. I've been so bad with names lately. The lead in it, the radio host, Adrian Barbeau. Love that cast. Love the way John Carver shot the fog and how spooky and creepy it is, and how it's all done practically and coming into the town and showcasing the town. You have one of John Carver's more underrated scores. Very booty, atmospheric score. I like the look of the pirates. They seem very sinister. To be some of the more sinister looking ghosts in a movie. It has a nice rich atmosphere to it. A great old-fashioned ghost story. Done in a 1980 sensibility. The cast worked well. John Carver's direction, I think, was top-notch on it. Again, that mood, atmosphere, when the falls going into it, you had a doom, doom, boom, boom, doom, 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 doom. Very spooky. Very well done. Fucked a little better than the remake. Number 2, I put The Shining. Because The Shining, I mean, it's classic. It's my favorite Jack Nicholson performance. Stanley Kubrick is my favorite Stanley Kubrick film. Masterfully directed. The use of camera shots. The opening. Showcasing a long, winding road in that haunting store. Yeah, the little kid, he got a bit annoying. Hello, dear. Do. Red rum, red rum, red rum. That got a bit annoying real quick. Made me want to feel sympathy for Jack Nicholson and understand more of why he was doing. But Shelley Duvall, I always felt sorry for her. I feel sorry for her in real life as well as in the movie. I never hated her performance like other people did. I just felt sorry for the character, which was the purpose. And Jack Nicholson, just a fun, entertaining tour de force performance by Jack. And the way Kubrick would set the shots, like how he has the camera by the door when it's getting broken open by the axe, and like all this other stuff I thought looked really neat, looked cool. When they're looking down the model and it goes into the hedge maze, and I do think it's better than the source material. I've read bits and pieces of source material. I know that I've seen the TV miniseries, and I like the Kubrick movie much more. And I think the hedge maze is better than the topiary animals that come alive. I think among other stuff. And don't get me started in that miniseries. I don't mind Steven Weber as an actor, but he can't hold a candle to Jack Nicholson. And I'm sorry, the polo, whatever the fuck it is, not as intimidating as a fucking axe. Just saying. But anyway. Love The Shining. And number 1, I put Cheech and Chong's next movie. I am a fan of Cheech and Chong, especially the first 2 films. I find them endlessly entertaining and hilarious. I would put the first 2 Cheech and Chong films in my top 10 favorite comedies. This is a movie I watched over and over again when I was a kid. Yeah. Mexican Americans, we go to night school, we taste Spanish and get a B. I love the way they work together from the beginning, where they're in this rundown shithole of a place. Oh, we're not dressed right. That's why we're not getting no respect. And they fix up their van to the song Tequila. Cheech trying to teach Chon how to say Pendeo. And what does that mean? Oh, it means my good friend. So Chon keeps saying it, and she's like, no, don't say that. Even the beginning where Bullshit. Yeah, I know it's bullshit. What? What? Don't light that in here, man. It's gas. Oh, man. And the inside the car blows up. The way Cheech tries to explain to his girlfriend, well, yeah, I was trying to save a baby, and look at me, I got a burning baby over myself. You know, come on, give me a kiss. I thought Cheech and Chong were in their prime, and yeah, Paul Rubens in there, who would be Pee Wee Herman. He makes an early role in that. He was in an early role in a couple Cheech and Chong films. This one and Nice Dreams, I believe. I'm not sure if he did any other ones. And just the craziness that ensues with Tommy Chong going to Cheech and Marin's cousin, but it's also played by Cheech. I love the way that guy talked. Holy sheep shit. And going to this rich family and all the crazy stuff. This comedy club that goes all crazy, and even get aliens involved, and just insane hijinks that ensue. And I just find that very entertaining. Even the way it ends is a very unique way to end it. I love in Cheech and Chong's next movie. I still say Up in Smoke. I would say the first 20 to 30 minutes. I'll say the first 30 minutes of Cheech and Chong's. The first 3 minutes of Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke is some of the funniest comedy I've ever seen. The first 30 minutes of Up in Smoke is some of my favorite bits of comedy ever when they first met. So that will always be number one. The rest of the movie, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's not as good as the first 30 minutes, but it's still fun. The Battle of the Bands, I'm not as interested in compared to others. So I would say, as a full film, I'm more consistently entertained with this compared with the first. Again, the first movie's first 30 minutes, just classic. I can see clearly now the rain. But I would say this as a full movie is more, again, consistently entertaining. And I love Cheech and Chong's next movie. I get a kick out of it. So, that had to be number one. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.